an inclusive community dedicated to building a better world. My name is Pat Mannion, and with me also is Linda Duarte-Wolf, your Words of Associates today. However you identify, whether you join us in person or online, know that you are welcome. UUCF acknowledges that this land which we inhabit in Orange County is physically located on the ancestral homelands of the Ahachiman, Kizh, and Tongva people. We pay respect and we honor them and all Indigenous peoples. Before we begin our service today, I will call your attention to a few announcements. Actually, a good number of announcements. This is exciting. First off, thank you to everybody who came out last night for the fall potluck. Make a little sign if you were there. That's exciting. I was there too. It was really fun. Thank you especially to Mark and Duffy and Megan and anybody else who helped set up or helped tear down or who provided food. Thank you, everyone. It was an amazing celebration, to be quite honest. The Social Action Committee will be meeting in the choir room today. Debbie Longenbacher will be running that right afterwards. The men's group, hey, our men's group will be hosting an ice cream fundraiser. This is to defray costs for people that are going to go to de Benneville. There is a family retreat coming up specifically for, in part, our congregation. That's on November 8th through 10th. The donation suggestion for the ice cream today is $4 per scoop. You are welcome to give a little bit extra. We would love that. There are flyers on the back there about de Benneville, specifically about our upcoming November retreat there. So please grab one of those. I love it. I've been there a number of times. Love de Benneville. We're so lucky to have that place and that it's safe and not on fire. We're also holding an after-service meeting next week, October 20th, to help talk about the qualities that we're looking for in a contract minister. That'll be a temporary one. Later on, we get a permanent one. We're going to talk about the qualities, the talents, the motivations that you would like in your spiritual leadership here. And we'll break into small groups and get your input, and that's next week. And that's going to be an amazing thing to help us move forward. As many of you know, our own Casey Marie Pandel is being ordained on Saturday, October 26th, right here at 3 p.m. Good. Many of you know Casey. I know Casey. What a wonderful, hey, my wife also will be getting ordained in a couple years too. So I would love to see a wonderful celebration that day. Sponsoring a minister is one of the great joys that we can experience. I kind of said that. We'll be passing a basket around in a little bit during the Joys and Sorrows segment. That is specifically to gather some money towards a small gift for Casey. So that's what the early basket will be. Later in the service, there's our normal basket. Stay informed by visiting our website. You know the name of the website and where to find it. It's there. That's where all our important stuff is. I would like to welcome now our guest speaker, Laurel Estrada, who is with us today. Laurel has spent the last 31 years, oh yes. A brief bio. Laurel spent the last 31 years in education, serving as a teacher and administrator. She's a parent to Jenna and Leah, ages 22 and 20, and has been a proud member of UUCF since 2008. We'll be sharing our joys and sorrows a little bit later in the service. And if you're in the sanctuary, we'd love you to share as usual. Those slips are in the back and we'll collect them just right around Time for All Ages. If you're joining us online, please post your joys and sorrows and concerns and comments in there, or just say hello. Hello online. And now, take a few minutes to say hello to each other.
to sing. No, not on. A little bit. Is that better? There we go. That's getting better. All right, so the first song we're going to sing, called When I Am Frightened, was originally titled Then I May Learn. And it was written by Shelley Denham and was commissioned in 1999. Because of her lifelong commitment to working with and empowering youth, Shelley took the opportunity to write a piece based on children's yearning for truth, respect, and engagement with adults. In keeping with the philosophy that children are watching, what are they learning? This song is meant as a reminder that all children deserve and need compassion, acceptance, commitment, and that they often learn to both give and receive these essential elements of relationship through the simple act of observation. So if you'll now stand, if you're willing and able, and join me in singing When I Am Frightened. When I am frightened, will you reassure me? When I'm uncertain, will you hold my hand? Will you be strong for me? Sing to me quietly. Will you share some of your stories with me? If you will show me compassion, then I may learn to care as you do. Then I may learn to care. When I am angry, will you still embrace me? When I am thoughtless, will you understand? Will you believe in me? Stand by me willingly. Will you share some of your questions with me? If you will show me acceptance, then I may learn to give as you do. Then I may learn to give. When I am troubled, will you listen to me? When I am lonely, will you be my friend? Will you be there for me? Comfort me tenderly. Will you share some of your feelings with me? If you will show me commitment, then I may learn to love as you do. Then I may learn to love.
Thank you, Mary and Christine. That was beautiful. It was beautiful. I've learned I've got to stand on my tiptoes because people tell me they can only see half my face up here, so I'm just gonna practice my Pilates. I have a couple of quick announcements myself. We at the Welcome Table and engagement leaders have decided it would be much better if you all could take care of your own name tags rather than us being responsible for them. So if you don't mind, we would love for you to take your name tags home today. Thank you so much. I also want to let you know I have handouts from my speech as well as my recommended reading list, which I've updated, and that's on the welcome table as well for you to take. Last but not least, and just a reminder, when we do our Time for All Ages, we bring food for the kids to bring up to donate, non-perishable food. You can also bring things like toiletries and socks and things like that for the homeless. So I encourage you to bring your donations for that, for our church every day, so we can send them along to Pathways of Hope. This morning, we gather together to worship as a community of all ages. Let us take a moment to look around at those of us sharing this sacred space. Let us recognize the hearts of our whole community, from our elders to our youngest and all the ages in between. Let us embody the beauty of this whole church community, even when there are a few more wiggles, giggles, and chatter. Actually, that can make it more fun. Let us remind ourselves to listen carefully, calming our bodies and our minds. Know you are surrounded with love here, with the love of this community, where all of us belong, where we're all welcome, where everyone knows your name. I now invite our guest speaker, Laurel, to light the chalice. And please join me in saying our unison affirmation. This flame affirms the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment. Love is the doctrine that we share. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve human need. Thus do we covenant with one another. And now the children are invited to come forward for time for all ages. Anna's. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
We elbowed it out. You guys were gonna be with me. All right. So I am excited that there are kids here today because we're gonna talk today. Once you all go to your wonderful RE, we grown-ups are gonna talk about things like technology and cell phone. But I brought a book to share with you, and it's kind of an interesting book. This fellow, Jeffrey Liu, wrote it. And it's called Salambis. Have you seen one? And you guys have had cell phones, smartphones your whole entire life. So you don't know a world without cell phones. But the grown-ups in the room, this is a big shift for us. And so sometimes when things get introduced really quickly, there aren't really rules made for new stuff. And so this fellow, Jeffrey, said, you know what? I want to talk to people. I'm going to write a book about manners when it comes to cell phones and the ways that maybe we're not very safe when we're super duper focused on our cell phones. We're not connected with the people around us. And so I know you all know all about manners, but maybe you haven't thought about manners when it comes to cell phones. So let's find out what Jeffrey has to say about it. He defines a salambi as he says it's a noun, and it's a person on a cell phone, the one so distracted, so confused, and so in the zone, the one engaged with devices so untimely, bumping into things like a mindless zombie. And he dedicates this book to those who want to guide the new generation with cell phone etiquette. All right. Have you ever met a salambi? Chances are you can quickly name 3. Salambis live amongst you and me. They're part of our society. They blend in like normal people, but are easy to spot. They walk the streets, roam the schools, and drive around parking lots. Salambis are normal people on cell phones, the ones so distracted, so confused, so in the zone. Their choice to engage these devices is so untimely. They bumped into things like mindless zombies. They all are. Those little spots are supposed to represent salambis out and among us in the world. Look, one of them's driving a bus. That's kind of scary. was a really bad idea. I'm glad I'm not on that bus. All right. Have you seen a salami in the street? The one that makes the cars go screech? You ever seen someone like that? Yeah, me too. Right. Have you seen salami as drivers? Their eyes are off the road, crossing over the yellow dividers. Maybe they miss a red light turning to become a green light because they are on their phone. How to spot a salami, you ask? Are they mesmerized? Look hypnotized? Do they have a glow on their face? Won't blink if you sprayed them with mace? While staring at their cell phones, do they walk like zombies? You have just found a salami. Salamis are not bad people. In fact, you might say to yourself, oh my, I'm a salami. Just don't be a salami on the road, behind the wheel, waiting in line, at the dinner table, out at a restaurant, walking the streets, or at the movies. Don't be a mindless salami. So, you ever thought about that before? Maybe you'll notice a salami out in the world, and when you someday get a smartphone, you might already have a smartphone. Do you have smartphones already? Yeah. So maybe you'll think, I don't want to be a salami. All right, go enjoy your RE, kids, and thank you for coming and listening to my story with me.
Go with wisdom, go with wonder, go to see a brand new day. Learn to see the light within you as we send you on your way. Go with wisdom, go with wonder, go to see a brand new day. Learn to see the light within you as we send you on your way.
Those joining us online are invited to share in all caps, joys and sorrows if you haven't. We will be lighting a candle now for anyone in the sanctuary who has given us one of these joys or sorrows or concerns. And this is also the time when we'll pass around the baskets, if that's okay. The baskets, that's for any donation you can give towards Casey Marie Pandel's ordination gift. We have a sorrow from Debbie Reback. You want to come up and light? She says, for our brother-in-law, Jeff Strieger, who passed suddenly on September 13th, and for my sister, his wife, who is grieving his loss. We next have a concern from Debbie Longbacher, a concern for all those affected by the Helene and Milton hurricanes. She says, my grandson lives in one of the affected areas. He's okay. I'm glad he's okay. A joy from Joy, who may be busy. We'll light that candle anyway. Joy Ellis says, my mom's PET scan came back clean, no cancer detected. We are thankful, she says, for her 3 years of remission. Absolutely. A joy from Mary Botts. Go ahead and light that one for yourself. The Benneville is open after weeks of being evacuated. I followed that every day. I watched those little maps as they went back and forth. It was dicey. And we have Barry Breezy, a joy. My nephew got engaged last Sunday to his girlfriend of 8 years. That's a sizable number of years. I love that. And there is one online from Cheryl Yoder Edney, sending hopeful support to my sister in the hospital after open heart surgery. She fell and is getting ready for hip surgery. We skipped the part where we light the candle for our concerns for the larger world, but you can do that now. Our wish is for peace and justice. Our hopes are for the children who will inherit this planet. May the candle represent all those wishes and calls to actions. There are more than we can possibly articulate. And we light one last candle for all the joys, concerns, and sorrows that remained unexpressed, but we still hold close to our hearts. And now, please join me in saying this apparently new affirmation. We join you in celebrating your joys. May you feel our love and compassion for your sorrows and concerns, for all that is spoken and unspoken. May the caring of our beloved community sustain us all.
Thank you, Christine. Music can bring us such joy and such nostalgia, childhood, fond memories. Let us move now into the spirit of meditation, reflection, and prayer. You may close your eyes, take a deep breath, whatever helps you find your center, feeling grounded. Imagine a culture in which there is a place for every human gift, in which children are safe and protected, women are respected, and men and women can love each other as whole human beings. Imagine parents who feel safe to be vulnerable when asking for support and getting that loving and support as they make difficult decisions to keep their children safe. Imagine a culture in which the incisive intellect, the willing hands, and the happy heart are beloved. Then our children and youth will have a place where all their talents will be appreciated, and they can indeed flourish and thrive.
short reading by Mary Pfeiffer. Go with Pfeiffer. That's right. Adolescence is a border between childhood and adulthood. Like life on all borders, it's teeming with energy and fraught with danger. Growth requires courage and hard work on the part of the individual, and it requires the protection and the nurturing of the environment and the adults entrusted to help guide them.
Good morning again. I want to address a topic today that I sort of introduced in the Time for All Ages, and it's one that resonates in our modern lives: navigating the digital landscape. As a parent of two daughters, ages 20 and 22, and an educator with 31 years of experience, both as a teacher and an administrator, I've witnessed firsthand the dramatic shifts in technology and the impact it's had on families and communities. Let's journey back to 1992. That's the year I began my teaching career. In my classroom, technology was limited to an overhead projector and a wall phone that connected me to the front office. If the phone in the office was left off the hook, I was totally cut off from immediate communication with the outside world. The notion of a digital classroom was a distant, unknown reality. Fast forward to today, and technology has become ubiquitous in our lives. The first iPhone was released in 2007, and this was a turning point that revolutionized how our children interact with the world. My own daughters were just 3 and 5 at the time. Their lives and the lives of all children born after the year 2000 have been profoundly shaped by smartphones, social media, and other technology. Parents of this generation are pioneers, navigating uncharted territories and continually trying to balance freedom with safety. Researchers have identified the years between 2010 and 2015 as the period of most significant neurological rewiring caused by this technological boom. This is particularly concerning for our children and youth, since their brains, especially their prefrontal cortex, aren't fully developed until their mid-20s. The consequences of this digital revolution are evident. Today, children's mental health is in crisis, with alarming trends in anxiety and depression, particularly among girls. For boys, we're witnessing a rise in violence and extremist ideologies. It's sobering to acknowledge that research suggests that social media doesn't merely correlate with mental health issues, but it actually causes them. And researchers say this is because of the effects of cyberbullying, which I'll talk about in more detail later. Also, the use of filters that end up distorting body image concepts. And then the impact of FOMO, fear of missing out. Back in the day, of course, there were always parties that kids weren't invited to, but they didn't know about it. And now they see the happy faces on social media, and it breaks their hearts. And also the addictive nature of social media, the impact of those dings and those alerts on the developing brain are really connected to these mental health issues. So in my role as an elementary school principal and vice principal, so much time was spent handling situations related to technology violations, as I'm sure every educator in this room can attest to. When I was the foster and homeless liaison for a school district, there was the 13-year-old girl in foster care who was enticed from La Puente to Cerritos by a predator who found her on Instagram. It took a huge effort by law enforcement, social services, and my team to get her back in the care of her foster family. There were countless times when trash talk in video game chats escalated to threats of violence and that bled over to the school day. Students at an elementary school where I was created Instagram accounts called F, you can guess what that stands for, F, Marry, or Kill, complete with pictures of teachers and students asking people to name which they would match with which action. The accounts even had our school logo on them. After a long investigation, we were able to identify 2 of the students who had created 2 of the accounts to take them down. But a third remained up for months, complete with our school logo and pictures of our teachers and our students on them with those terrible words and concepts. Instagram just wouldn't take it down. Enough people had to report its contents as inappropriate for them to take it down. It felt like the Wild West when it came to trying to navigate this at the school. There was no avenue for me as the principal or even the district superintendent to get these accounts taken down. Incidents of cyberbullying on Snapchat, Instagram, Discord, TikTok, and other platforms bleed into the school day regularly and can make students feel very unsafe coming to school. This is just a small representation of the many situations I dealt with. The hours spent investigating and reporting social media accounts have certainly impacted our ability as educators to devote the time and attention necessary to address students' learning gap and heightened emotional needs post-COVID. The part of these experiences that I want to highlight is the conversations with parents about their child's behavior online. I met with a range of reactions. On the one hand, I had parents who hung up on me and told me I had no business discussing this or bringing it to their attention since it occurred outside the school day. On the other end of the spectrum, there was a father who I had to talk out of enrolling his child in military school when he learned that the boy was trash talking in video game chat. Instead, I had to talk to him about the reality of the technology and ways he could support his boy in balancing it and understanding his level of responsibility. Mostly, I spoke to parents who were confused. They honestly didn't know how to handle their child's access and exposure to technology. Many parents cited disagreement between the 2 parents on how to handle the situation, and they inevitably defaulted to the more lax approach. Others thought they were monitoring their child's digital footprint, but the child found ways around the parental controls. This happened a lot. When I reminded parents of elementary school students that their child had verified they were 13 in order to even get a social media account, many parents said they were aware, but they didn't want their child to feel left out of social media activities. Overwhelmingly, parents really did want to get this right. Most of us have heard that the technology geniuses up in the Silicon Valley don't even let their own children get smartphones or social media until well into high school. Instead, they purchase flip phones for them until they're ready for the responsibility. They cite the addictive nature of smartphone use and the mental health challenges inherent in social media and other dangers. Some of the risks of excessive smartphone use among young people are obvious. Sleep deprivation, addiction to technology, and fragmented attention span. Clearly, these severely impact children and adolescents' ability to do their best in school. Social isolation is kind of an ironic side effect to all of this, since many parents give their child a smartphone and allow them to have social media accounts early because they don't want them to feel left out. Researchers have also pointed to opportunities lost when it comes to this excessive use of technology. And they estimate that preteens and teens spend about 40 to 50 hours a week on smartphones and on this technology. What experiences are they missing out on because of this? And how does this time impact their development? We still don't know. This is where we're still sort of pioneers in all of this. Moving forward, how can we both personally and more broadly as a society support parents as they navigate this digital landscape? At every school where I've been a site administrator, we've had a school policy in which students' cell phones were to be turned off and put away until they were off campus. Much to the students' dismay, I took every opportunity I could find, whether it was a parent meeting or an awards assembly, to suggest to parents that they keep their child's device charging outside of their bedroom overnight. So many times, students came up to me on the playground and looked at me and said, "Thanks a lot, Mrs. Estrada. Thanks to you, I have to turn my iPad in every night to get charged in my parents' room." I said, "You have good parents." You might have heard that the Phone Free School Act passed recently here in California, and it goes into effect July 1st, 2026. Those school districts are encouraged to adopt practices sooner. It requires districts to have a board policy that bans or limits smartphone use during school. I think this could be helpful in the efforts, but really, it just seems like a drop in the bucket. I've heard of parent groups that create packs called Wait Until Ninth Grade packs. It involves 10 or more families agreeing to hold off allowing their children to have social media accounts or smartphones until high school. And this helps with the dynamic of not wanting their child to feel left out because there are at least 9 other children in their peer group with the same restrictions. I certainly would have participated in something like this with my own daughters. To support the parents in our families and social circles, consider giving their children and teens what I like to call an anti-smartphone pack. It consists of an old-fashioned batteried alarm clock, a calculator, and a flashlight, so that phones can be left charging in another room overnight and when homework is being completed. Mostly, I really believe that we can give the parents and youth in our lives who are in the thick of this the opportunity to just talk about these challenges without judgment, shame, or blame. Just listen and acknowledge how hard it is and how these challenges are really unprecedented in the history of childhood, adolescence, and certainly parenting. It can be very isolating. I can speak from firsthand experience when you're grappling with these really hard issues day in and day out and getting so much pushback from your child, and sometimes it feels like every other parent has it figured out and you're the only one. And instead of feeling motivated to go and talk to people, it's easy to just feel like, well, I'm just gonna figure this out on my own because I'm the only one. There are efforts being made to regulate social media, and more attention is being paid to supporting families in combating these difficulties. But we can acknowledge the challenges and come together to support those in our own lives who might be struggling. I have every reason to believe the situation will improve in the future. We'll, of course, never go back to the uncomplicated technology that was characteristic of my first classroom in 1992. If we did, we'd also miss out on all the possibilities that the digital landscape presents. Let's face it, it was pretty unsafe for me to be in charge of 32 little ones, and if someone left the phone off the hook in the office, I had no way to let anyone know anything had happened. So safety is something that technology gives us both challenges and reassurance. If you're interested in knowing more about this topic, I highly recommend this book by Jonathan Haidt. I'm going to read you the full title, The Anxious Generation, How the Great Rewiring of Childhood is Causing an Epidemic of Mental Illness. The title makes it sound bleak, but he does give a lot of ideas for how we as a society can get back on track, and there's hope that we're headed in that direction. I shared this dramatic shift in technology from the start of my career in education to now, And that's incredibly sudden and fast as far as societal shifts go. It seems understandable that we unknowingly ended up harming ourselves and our children through excessive technology use. As with so much in life and in parenting, it's a process of balancing the benefits and being aware of the dangers of technology so that families and children can harness all the benefits technology brings. Thank you for listening to me today and for considering ways in which each of us can help get to a place where our children are safer and our families have the support they need to navigate this difficult digital landscape.
Thank you so much, Laurel. You know, this issue affects all of us, and as many of us are grandparents, we can take this information to our children, who are the parents, and help them navigate this as well. Unitarian Universalism is a grand vision of a world filled with peace and justice and love. That vision is embodied in a few large congregations, numerous mid-sized congregations, and many, many small congregations. No matter its size, every congregation depends on each of its members. Each one of you, by your commitment of time, energy, and resources, helps make that grand vision real. Each and every one of us helps make this community thrive, individually and building a world filled with peace and justice and love.
Our closing hymn was written in 1988 by Libby Roderick. This simple song spread like wildfire to become an internationally beloved anthem of hope and healing, deeply touching the hearts of hundreds of thousands of people around the world. It has been used for every conceivable purpose to bring inspiration and affirmation to people struggling with every imaginable challenge and to create and celebrate the beauty of the human beings everywhere. It has been featured in every format and venue, from videos, films, and slideshows, to hospitals, prisons, kindergartens, marches, peace gatherings, weddings, funerals, and shelters. Princess Diana even wore a t-shirt with the lyrics to work out at the gym. I'm going to invite people to sing it once through to remember how it goes, then to sing it to the person next to them, and then finally, sing it to themselves. If you'll stand, if you're willing and able, we are going to sing How Could Anyone Ever Tell You? How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul, to each other. How could anyone ever tell you you are anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. One more time, to yourself. How could anyone ever tell me I was anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell me I was less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that my loving is a miracle? How deeply I'm connected to my soul.
It takes a village. I just want to send a shout out to Megan Smock, the chair of our worship association, Associates Committee for helping us put together these wonderful sermons since we've lost our minister. Today, our caring listener is Pat Mannion. He will be available after service if you have any concerns or would simply like someone to talk to, and trust that whatever you share is always confidential.
I missed an announcement, and since it's about me, I'm going to give it right now. We're doing an improv workshop this Thursday. I do it every month. It's amazing. It's for beginners. Have fun. Oh, you don't have to go back to it, but you can. So this Thursday at 7 o'clock right here in the Chapman Lounge, I'll be doing improv. It's going to be amazing. We have a great group. So much fun. Okay, it says here you can join hands if you wish. As we come to the end of our time together today, children and youth and their parents have ongoing challenges in this ever-evolving digital landscape. May we support them to continue to be resilient and compassionate critical thinkers. Let us move forward with the awareness and foster open conversations that help our children grow and explore, while instilling a sense of responsibility and empathy. Together, we can create safe spaces where our children feel supported in their journey, helping them navigate challenges with courage and wisdom. Let us carry forward the commitment to nurture their spirits and guide them towards a balanced relationship with technology, one that uplifts their humanity and connects them to the world around them. May we continue to learn, grow, and stand together in this endeavor.
We now extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts wherever we may go. Amen. Shalom, salam, namaste, and blessed peace.